Court for the City of Stoughton is now in session. The Honorable Matthew T. Rothy presiding.
Please be seated. Please remove all hats, silence cell phones, and cease conversations. We'll call the court to order at this time. My name is Matt Rothy. I'm the Stoughton Municipal Judge. It covers the jurisdictions of the City of Stoughton, towns of Pleasant Springs, Rutland, and Dunkirk. I'd like to go through some of the rules we follow in our courtroom. These rules should have been available in the pamphlet as you enter the courtroom. We take pleas tonight. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. When your case is called, please come forward. I'll review your citation with you and then discuss the fines, and then I'll take your plea. A plea of no contest is a similar to a guilty plea, but a conviction arising from a no contest plea cannot be used against you in a subsequent citation. Let me explain that. Say if you're involved in a traffic accident and you receive a citation. If you enter a no contest plea to that citation, that person, if they sue you for damages later, cannot use that no contest plea against you. You're not admitting guilt, essentially. If you enter a plea of guilty, I'll review the citation. If there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty and impose an appropriate forfeiture. Forfeitures range from $20 to $1,000. However, almost all are within the $50 to $200 range. The state mandates that I add costs to your forfeiture. For example, a $30 or $50 forfeiture will result in a total fine to you of $124. Now, I grant 30 days to pay. However, if you need additional time, please let me know. I have limited options to collect. I can suspend your driver's license for a year. I can send your your citation to collections. I'd rather not do that. If you need additional time, just let me know and we can work out a payment arrangement. If you enter a not guilty plea, we'll set your case over to the next court session for a pretrial conference. That date will be October 9th. At that time, I'll order that you appear and meet with the city attorney to see if your case can be resolved before a trial. Those of you here facing traffic offenses should understand that you lose demerit points upon conviction of most such offenses. If you lose 12 or more points in any 1 year, you lose your license to drive, and you'll also be fined. I'd like you to be aware of some of your rights before entering a plea. You have a right to ask for a continuance. This means that your case can be set over to another time, either to consult with a lawyer or for some other reason. This is not a criminal court. You're not entitled to a public defender, but you may hire an attorney at your own cost. You also have a right to a trial. Please remember rights when considering your plea. Okay. All right, that concludes my opening remarks. We take people on a first-come, first-served basis. The first person in today was Lucas Neustadler. Good evening, Mr. Neustadler. Do I have your correct address on Roby Road in Stoughton?
What did you say? Sorry.
What's that?
What did you say?
I said, do I have your correct address on
Yes.
Roby Road in
Yes,
Stoughton?
you do.
Okay. You've been cited for loud and unnecessary noise. That citation carries a penalty of $124. Now, that's $50 plus costs. The forfeiture range on this is $25 to $1,000, but you're at $50 plus costs. You're not the minimum, but you're fairly close.
All right.
I could reduce it to 25, or I could up it if I deem necessary.
Okay.
Do you understand what loud and unnecessary noise is?
Yes.
All right. You don't need me to explain the citation to you?
No.
Okay. Any questions regarding the citation?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, it's likely I'll find you guilty?
Yep.
All right, let me read the police report. I want to make sure that I have a factual basis for your plea.
All right.
Okay, I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your no contest plea, and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No.
Okay, I have to ask, how come you appeared tonight?
I was gonna try to see if I could get it lowered or something, because when the cop did end up to start the traffic stop, I was parked in front of private property, exiting the vehicle, actually, and he ended up turning on his lights and telling me to get back in my car, and my music was down and everything before, when he decided to start the traffic stop.
Okay. How's your record?
Good.
Okay,
I think I got a seatbelt ticket and one speeding ticket.
okay. Well, based upon your appearance tonight, you're arguing, I'm going to reduce this to $30 plus costs, which would be $98.80.
All right.
Do you need time to pay that?
Yeah, I need a couple days.
I'll give you 30 days.
All right.
And then you can either mail payment in, or if you want to, you can bring in payment, and there's a dispatch window downstairs that would accept the payment then, so.
All right.
All right. If you want to just wait a minute, I will have the bailiff give you this form, and once you receive it, that will take care of it for this evening then.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Adrian Dutter. Good evening, Mr. Dutter. Do I have your correct address on Cook Street in McFarland?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for unreasonable and imprudent speed. This citation carries a penalty of 4 demerit points issued to your driver's license and a forfeiture of $136.60. Now that is $60 plus costs. The forfeiture range on this is as follows. It's $40 to $300. So you're not at the minimum, but you're fairly close to the minimum range on this. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand what unreasonable imprudent speed is?
Yes.
All right. Any questions for the court?
No.
At this time, I take your plea, guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. Well, not guilty plea, we'll schedule this matter. I'll order that you attend a pretrial conference with the city attorney. It's October 9th, correct? And I'll give you a notice for that October 9th date in just a minute. Now, it's a chance, I always advise people, before you leave the building, go take a look at where the pretrial conference room will be. Now, it's on the first floor of this building. Oh, I'm sorry. That day, because we have an overlap with the room, it will actually be on second floor. It's actually will be in my office and my
Okay.
clerk's office, so it's good. Basically, you get off the elevator, there will be a small hallway to your left. That's where the pretrial conference will be. Go take a look at it so you know what I'm talking about before I go. Make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear that night, I will find you default and I'll find you guilty and impose those penalties as we discussed earlier. And finally, it's a chance to tell your side of the story, so bring whatever witnesses or documents might help your case.
Okay, thank you.
All right, with that, I will have the bailiff give you the notice, and once you receive that, that'll take care of it this evening. Thank you. Wake. Mr. Wake, do I have your correct address on Clyde Street in Stoughton?
Nope.
All right. I have 2 citations. The first is for disorderly conduct with a motor vehicle. That citation carries a penalty of $124. Forfeiture range on this is $25 to $1,000. You're at $50 plus costs. You're not the minimum, but you're fairly close. Do you understand what you understand the forfeiture range?
Yes.
All right. Do you understand what disorderly conduct with a motor vehicle is?
I believe so.
Do you want me to read the statute to you? That way you'd have a clearer understanding?
Yeah.
All right, just give me a minute. It's actually an ordinance violation. It does not get reported to the DOT. It's 50-8 is the ordinance number. Ordinances are like city rules that the city council adopts, and then the Stoughton police enforce. And let me read you that statute. Excuse me, it's an ordinance. Statute is a state law. All right, 50-8. Disorderly conduct with a motor vehicle, subsection A prohibited. No person shall cause or provoke disorderly conduct with a motor vehicle, cause a disturbance or annoy one or more persons within the city by use of any motor vehicle, including but not limited to an automobile, truck, motorcycle, mini bike, or snowmobile. Does that clarify your understanding?
Yeah.
All right. And that's the first citation. The second citation is violate GDL, or graduated driver's license restrictions for a passenger, first offense. That citation carries a penalty of $124 and 3 demerit points issued to your driver's license. The forfeiture range on this is as follows. See 343, 43. $0 to $200. You're at $50 plus cost. You're about a quarter way up the forfeiture. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Do you understand what violating GDL restrictions as a passenger is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions regarding either of these two citations?
Nope.
Now is the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
You understand that with no contest plea, I'll review the police report, and if there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty. You understand that?
Yep.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea.
All right.
Oh, before I review the police report, there's something I want to mention. If you have GDL restrictions, it's likely you have a probationary license. You understand that? Okay. And with a probationary license, your first citation is the point total stay the same as in this one, 3. But if you have a second or second, third, et cetera, I call it fancy word for saying subsequent, that means the point total is double.
Okay.
Are you aware of that as well?
Yes.
Does that affect your plea at all?
No.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, except your no contest plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
Nope.
Okay. Why did you appear tonight?
Felt I should come and do the responsibility of showing up for my actions.
Okay. Would you have any arguments about the forfeitures?
No.
I do find the forfeitures to be appropriate. I will go ahead and issue a $124 forfeiture for disorderly conduct with a motor vehicle. And then the other one was listed as, pardon me for a second. Actually, they're both $124. Total forfeiture will be $248. Do you need time to pay?
A little bit.
How much time would you like to pay?
Probably the 30 days.
30 days would be adequate? Okay. I'll give you 30 days. If you find that that's not enough time, there's a number here that you can call. Call that number, schedule a hearing time. It's usually held at 6 o'clock. And you can come in, and when you hear these fines and you argue that you need more time, the prosecutor will be here at that time, and the prosecutor will weigh in. If, however, you're making progress, nobody will have the objections, any extension. So, any questions for me? I'll give these to the bailiff. Once you receive these from the bailiff, that will take care of it this evening.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Nicholas Hansen. I'll give you, Mr. Hansen, do I have your correct address on Page Street in Stoughton?
Yes, sir.
All right, you received a citation for discharging firearms. That citation carries a penalty of $250. Forfeiture range on this is $25 to $1,000. You're at, check, $150 plus costs. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. We're recording, so, yeah, it doesn't always affect up. Do you understand what discharge firearms is?
Yes, sir.
All right, would you like me to read the ordinance to you?
No, I reviewed it yesterday, actually.
Okay. Any further questions for me, then?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Sorry, I need some water here. Guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I'll review the citation. If there's a factual basis, I'll find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. I want to review the ordinance just to make sure. Okay. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your guilty plea, and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on the sentence?
No, sir.
Okay. Why'd you appear tonight?
Well, I was hoping to possibly get it lower, but also need to pick up my things as well.
Pick up, oh, okay. I haven't really seen this before, but you did incur some medical expenses for this? Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir.
And are you all right, basically? Any lasting injuries or anything? I mean, actually, never, we're on open, like, you don't have to answer
Fine.
that. Oh, I'd rather not know, so, but you are physically okay then?
Yes, sir.
All right, then, we'll leave it at that.
Got pretty lucky.
All right. I will reduce this to $100 plus costs, which will result in a total forfeiture of $187.
Thank you, sir.
How much time do you need to pay?
No.
Okay, I'll give you 30 days, but if you want to you can take this to the dispatch window, because they'll have a record of 250 instead of 187. You can just show that to the dispatch window, and that'll be your total forfeiture, and then you can make payment as indicated. If for whatever reason something happens, or you have to go to your car and forget about it, you still have 30 days to pay for that, so.
Thank you.
All right. Once you receive that citation from the bailiff, that will take care of it this evening then. All right, thank you.
very much.
Elizabeth Seeger? Is this a Dunkirk? I don't see it out there. Oh, there it is. No. Oh, it was alphabetically. I'm sorry. Thanks for your patience, Ms. Seeger. Do I have your correct address on Main Street in Stoughton?
617, yes.
Oh, that's not what I have. 617?
Yes.
Okay. Are you been cited for non-registration of an automobile? This citation carries a penalty of 0 points and a forfeiture of $98.80. Forfeiture range on this is $0 to $200. You're at $30 plus cost. You're not at the minimum, but you're fairly close. You understand that as well?
Yes.
You understand what non-registration of auto is?
Yes.
All right. Have you updated the registration?
I have.
Okay. Do you have proof with you tonight?
It's on my cell phone.
All right. Do you have your cell phone with you?
I do.
Okay. You want to show it and bring it to me then?
It'll take me just a minute to
Okay.
find. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I take far too many pictures of myself?
This occurred on August 29th. Did you register it right away?
As soon as I got home, yeah.
Okay.
I take the address, and I think if you it should be.
Oh, there it is, the plate number. Okay. You should verify the plate number.
657 YW.
Yep, okay. The court's goal for this is to make sure people update the registration. You've shown me proof that you have. Since you showed me proof that you registered this vehicle, the court on its own motion will move to dismiss the citation then. So
Excellent.
citation is dismissed. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You'll get a form, indicating that it's been dismissed. Pierce Hansen. Mr. Hansen, do I have your correct address on Lexington Street, McFarland?
Yep.
All right. You received a citation for speeding on a city highway 25 to 29 over the limit. That citation carries a penalty of $174.40 and 6 demerit points issued your driver's license. This is $174.40 is $90 plus cost. The forfeiture range on this is 46.57. Just a minute, sir. $30 to $300. So you're not at the minimum, but you're about a third of the way up the range. You understand that as well? All right. Okay. I have a court. Do you have a probationary license?
No, I shouldn't.
Okay. Let me verify that. Okay. Yeah, you just turned. Yeah, you usually have a probation. If you got your license when you're 16, the probationary license would expire when you're 19, which makes sense then.
Yep.
So, okay. In addition to that, I have a policy here where I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. So instead of 25 to 29 over, I would reduce this to 19 over, which would be 4 points instead of 6. Right now it's 6 and $174.40. And the reason why I do that is if you are in or not guilty plea, see the prosecutor next month, the prosecutor will make the same offer. We'll reach an agreement with it whereby that basically saves you time to receive the same offer. You understand that as well? Okay. Any questions regarding the speeding citation? Nope. Now's the time I take your plea, and it would be guilty, no contest, or not guilty to the amended citation of 19 over the limit for 4 points, same forfeiture of $174.40. What's your plea? What's that? Guilty. Okay. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your guilty plea and find you guilty of speeding, 19 over the limit for 4 points, same forfeiture of $174.40. Anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you.
Okay, please be careful when you're because that was kind of a high rate of speed, but I understand. That's why, but people make mistakes, so.
Thank you.
All right, 30 days of pay adequate?
Yeah, I can pay it right now.
Okay, I'll give you this. If you want to pay right now, you can take it to the dispatch window downstairs. Okay. The bailiff will give it to you. Thank you for coming in. Daryl Royster? Mr. Royster, I have your correct address on Kenilworth Court in Stoughton.
No, yeah, I bought a house,
Okay, what's your address, please?
1617 Oak Street, Beloit.
Oak Street,
Yes, Beloit,
53511,
yes.
1612 Oak Street, Beloit, Wisconsin,
17, 1617.
I wrote it down correctly but said it wrong, so 1617 Oak Street, Beloit, Wisconsin, 53511. All right. Well, Mr. Royster, you've been cited for disorderly conduct. That citation carries a penalty of $250. That's $150 plus costs. The forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. So you're a little bit higher than the minimum. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, do you understand what disorderly conduct is?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions for me?
No,
Now's the time I take your plea.
not guilty.
Okay. We'll enter a not guilty plea, and I'll order that you attend a pretrial conference, and I'll give you that notice in just a minute. Pretrial conferences will, on that day, on October 9th, will be held on this floor. And it's, once you leave the courtroom, basically, you'll see the elevator on your right.
Or you come out.
Okay, yeah, exactly, right around the corner there. It's a chance to tell your side of the story, so bring whatever witnesses or documents might help your case. In addition to that, make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear, the prosecutor will tell me that you didn't appear. I'll find you in default, and I'll find you guilty, and I'll impose that forfeiture then. Okay? Any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
The bailiff will give you the notice, and once you receive that, that will take care of it for this evening then. Thank you, sir. Thomas Gilbert? Mr. Gilbert, do I have your correct address on Danks Road in Stoughton?
Yep.
All right. You received a citation for failure to yield right-of-way from stop sign. This citation carries a penalty of 4 demerit points and a forfeiture of $90.80. Forfeiture range on this is $20 to $50. So it's a pretty tight range, you're kind of right in the middle of it, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you understand what failure to yield right away from a stop sign is?
Yep.
All right. Do you have a probationary license?
Nope.
Okay, if you do not, then that's fine. The reason why I make these mandatory appearances, for any type of failure to yield citations, if you're found guilty of that, the state mandates that we add, the state mandates that you take a approved class from the DOT about failure to yield. It's not something that I approve, or it's kind of out of my hands. So I always want to make sure that people are aware of this when they receive this type of citation then. So you know about it then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so any questions for me regarding this citation?
Nope.
Now's the time I take your plea, guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay, with a not guilty plea, we'll schedule your matter for a trial, a pretrial conference with the city attorney. Again, on that day, they're usually on the first floor, but on that day, they're on the second floor. As you leave the courtroom, there will be an elevator on your right. It's around the corner from that elevator then. I always advise people, go take a look at the room, that way they know what they are. Make sure that you appear that day, and I'll give you the notice in just a minute. Make sure that you appear that day, because if you don't appear, I'll find you in default and I'll find you guilty and impose those forfeitures. And lastly, it's a chance to negotiate an option with the prosecutor, so bring whatever witnesses or documents might help your case then.
Okay.
Okay, any questions for me?
Nope.
Once the bailiff gives you this notice, that will take care of it this evening then. Anna Talihuckle? Help me out. How do you say it? Tequatle, thank you. There was a bunch of consonants together that kind of threw me off. Yeah. Do I have your correct address on Pearl Street in Janesville?
Yes.
All right. Oh, you received a speeding citation for 16 to 19 miles an hour over the limit. That citation carries a penalty, of 4 demerit points issued to your driver's license, $124 forfeiture. Do you understand what speeding in a 55 zone is?
I do.
Okay. And 1619 over, you understand that as well?
Yes.
Forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300. You're at $50 plus costs. In addition, do you have a probationary license?
No, I don't.
All right, so you don't have to worry about doubling the points. In addition, the policy in this court is to give you a 10 mile an hour leeway. So instead of 16 to 19 over the limit, it would be it would be 9 over the limit, which would be 3 points instead of 4. Same forfeiture of $124. Do you understand that?
Kind of.
Okay. Let me explain. Let me get it kind of dry today, so I'm going to give it some water. Most, in Wisconsin, you can't accumulate 12 or more points in a year.
Okay.
So most moving violations are 3 or 4. There's some that are 6. There are none that are 5. Okay. So speeding, simple speeding 1 to 9 over is 3 points. 10 to 19 over is 4, and 20 plus is 6.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm moving this essentially from speeding intermediate to speeding to simple speeding. Saves you a point in case and I find that a lot of people are worried about their insurance, and what the idea is that a simple speeding looks better on an insurance report rather than an intermediate.
Okay.
So I always give it an automatic 10 mile an hour leeway. And the reason why I do that is that if you were under a not guilty plea and talk with the prosecutor next month, they would make the same offer then, essentially. So does that make it more clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for me regarding the speeding citation?
I guess I think I'm pretty high in points. So.
Okay. If you're high in points, what I would recommend that you do is enter a not guilty plea.
Okay.
Talk to the prosecutor about that, and that way I don't have your record in front of me, but the prosecutor most likely will, so they can review your record and see if you're in danger of being suspended, or what's worse is what's called a habitual traffic offender. If you accumulate 12 speeding violations a 5-year period, you get revoked. It means they take your license away for 5 years. So that always encourages people to.
Okay.
So the prosecutor will have more time to review that with you and have the record in front of you.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and enter a not guilty plea.
Okay.
Oh, this is a town of Dunkirk case, so you'll be talking with the prosecutor over the phone.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
correct? Yeah, we'll send you the letter, because most of these cases, it's a different prosecutor from Dunkirk than it is from Stoughton. And most of these cases I see are actually from City of Stoughton, so Dunkirk. So try and get, you'll have a pretrial conference with the prosecutor over the phone. They'll have your record, and you can review that record with the prosecutor then.
Thank
So
you.
make sure that you call them back and make sure you set a, because if you don't, prosecutor will tell me that you didn't, and you'll be in default, and I'll find you in default, and I'll find you guilty then. So make sure that you get a hold of the prosecutor then. We'll send you correspondence to your address, and that way you'll get a notice of the number that you should call and when you should call.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any further questions? We'll mail you that notice, and that'll take care of it for this evening. Thank you.
Do I get a paper?
Yes. No, you don't get a paper from tonight, so we'll mail you the paper. Jake Lenz? Mr. Lenz, so I have your correct address on Page Street, Stoughton?
Yes, sir.
All right. You received a speeding on a city highway 1 to 10 over the limit. That citation carries a penalty of 3 demerit points and a forfeiture of $98.80. You understand what speeding on a city highway is?
Yes, sir.
You understand the limits of 1 to 10 or 3 points?
Yes, sir.
All right. And the forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300. You're at the minimum of 30 plus cost. You understand that as
Yes,
well?
sir.
All right. Now, I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. You're already at 3 points. So what I do for the ones that are 1 to 10 over is I amend this down to the defective speedometer. There'll be 2 points instead of 3, same forfeiture of $98.80. You understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
And the idea is that if you were under a not guilty plea of the prosecutor, they would likely give you the same offer.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
Now is the time I take your plea. What is your plea to speeding, or to, excuse me, defective speedometer, guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis, accept your no contest plea and find you guilty of defective speedometer, contrary to 347.41. All right. That's 2 points. Forfeiture is the minimum $98.80. Anything else you'd like to say?
I came here hoping that I could potentially get the ticket dropped due to the fact that I'm enlisted in the Air National Guard and I have
Okay.
security clearance.
I
for my
can't,
job.
I mean, you've already entered a plea, and I can't dismiss the case. If you would want to, you could talk to the prosecutor to see if they would get that dismissed.
Okay.
Do you want to do that instead?
Yes.
Okay, we'll change your, I will, what's the correct legal term? I will vacate the judgment I had against you. I will, so you're not found guilty. I'll go ahead and enter a not guilty plea on your behalf.
Thank you.
We'll schedule this for a pretrial conference on October 9th. I'll give you the notice in just a minute. It'll be, this is Stoughton, so it'll be around the corner from the elevator here.
Okay.
Make sure that you appear, because if you don't appear, I'll find you in default and I'll find you guilty. And then what I will do is that, make a chance to tell your side of the story, supporting whatever witnesses or documents might help your case as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You want to step forward? I'll give you the notice, and that'll take care of it this evening then. Thank you. Melissa Anderson? Do I have your, Ms. Anderson, do I have your correct address in South Street, Stoughton?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're cited for non-registration of auto. The citation carries a penalty of 0 points and forfeiture of $98.80. That's $30 plus cost. Forfeiture range on this is $0 to $200. Have you updated the registration on your car? Do you have proof of that?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, thank you. Okay, this is for Melissa Anderson. I'll note that. And did you do this right soon? Yeah, okay, good. Let me look for the vehicle registration number. I want to make sure it's the same car, and they have so many numbers out here. Okay, since you updated the registration, you met the court's goal of keeping your registration current. With that, the court on its own motion will go ahead and dismiss the citation then. And if you want, I'll give you a record of the dismissal. All right, beautiful. Thank you. Did I skip this one? Proper door? No contest. Okay. Barbara Dorn? Yeah. You were here earlier, but I missed you. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. Doesn't matter.
Ms. Dorn, do I have your correct address on Cook Street, McFarland?
Yes.
All right. You were cited for speeding 1 to 10 over the limit. That citation carries a penalty of 3 demerit points, forfeiture of $98.80. Do you understand what speeding on a city highway is?
Yes.
You understand the limits of 1 to 10 over?
Yes.
All right. Forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300. You're at the minimum of $30 plus cost. You understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. Court's policy for this is to give you a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. For this type of citation, instead of speeding 1 to 10 over, it's 3 points. I would reduce it down to defective speedometer, which would be 2 points instead of 3. The idea being if you entered a no contest or not guilty plea, saw the prosecutor, you likely get the same offer. It just saves time for everybody involved. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
Any questions for me? Now's the time I take your plea to defective speedometer, guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty?
Yes.
Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, except your no contest plea, defective speedometer, 2 points, 347.41. You're at the minimum forfeiture of $98.80. Anything you'd like to say? How much time do you need to pay?
Right now?
Okay, I'll give this, so you can take that downstairs to dispatch. When if something happens, you have 30 days to pay that. So,
Thanks.
all right, thank you for coming in. Tyler Marshall. Mr. Marshall, do I have your correct address on Page Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for theft movable property less than $2,500. That citation carries a penalty of $187. That's $100 plus costs. The forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. Do you understand what theft is?
Yes.
Do you understand the elements are less than $2,500? You understand that as well?
Yes.
You understand that the forfeiture range of 50 to 1,000 is what I could fine you, essentially.
Yeah. Yes.
And that you're facing a forfeiture of $187. Understand that as well?
Yes.
All right. Now, in addition to the $187 forfeiture, I can also order that you pay restitution. Do you know what restitution is?
Yes. Pretty sure.
Restitution is basically the value of the merchandise taken. If it was unrecovered or was damaged, say if I went into the store and sold a pack of cigarettes, in addition to the $187 I'd be facing, I'd also have to pay the merchant back $5 for the value of the merchandise as well. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for me?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
You understand with no contest plea, I'll review the police report, and if there's a factual basis, I will find you guilty. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. Let me review the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, except your, was a no contest plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No, sir.
Okay. I do find the forfeiture to be appropriate, $187. I'll make the finding that the item taken was returned to the owner, so I will not order any restitution. However, if for time and effort, the victim could possibly ask for a restitution hearing in this court. I don't know how I would, but just so you're aware that there always could be a restitution hearing. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. $187, how much time do you need to pay?
What's the longest amount of time?
I'll give you 3 months, 90 days. Need more additional time after the 90 days, there's a number you can call and schedule a time to ask for more time then.
All right, thank you.
Okay? Once you receive the disposition on that, once you receive this judgment of conviction, that'll take care of it this evening then. Cheryl Murray. Ms. Murray, do I have your correct address on Exchange Street in McFarland?
Yes, sir.
All right. You were cited for retail theft, intentionally taking less than $500. This citation carries a penalty of $187. Do you understand what retail theft is?
Yes, sir.
You understand the elements of being less than $500?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Forfeiture range on this is $50 to $1,000. You're at $100 plus costs. You understand that as well? You're not quite at the minimum, but you're fairly low on the scale. All right. She's nodding her head, yes. All right. This is retail theft. I can order restitution on this that you pay back the merchant. However, has your name and it has your citation and it says Walmart on it. I know from past contacts where the Walmart does not order restitution on this. You understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions for the court?
No
Now is the time I take your plea.
contest.
Okay. You understand with no contest plea, I must find you guilty if there's a factual basis?
Yes, sir.
Let me read the police report. I want to make sure there's a factual basis for your plea. Okay, I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your no contest plea, and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a sentence?
No, sir.
Okay. I do find the forfeiture of $187 to be appropriate, and we'll find that amount to you. How much time do you need to pay?
Can I have the 90 days because I'm disabled?
Yes, I will give you 90 days.
Thank you.
And then, if, in addition to 90 days, why don't you call at the end of the 90 days if you're not able to make payments?
Okay,
And then we can
thank you.
discuss the further resolution for that. I'll give you the notice in just a minute. Is there, I'm sure there's a prohibition that you're not allowed to enter the Walmart store?
No,
Okay.
no.
Oh, you
It was
get-
24 hours.
Okay. Fairly lenient. Okay. As long as you're aware of that, you're aware of the citation,
Yep.
that will take care of it this evening then. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Travis Mountford? Mountford? Do you have your correct address, Mr. Mountford, on Walnut Street in Oregon?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for hit and run property adjacent to highway. This citation carries a penalty of 0 points and $187. Do you understand what hit and run property adjacent to highway is?
Yes.
All right. You understand that the forfeiture rate, you're at $100 plus costs. Forfeiture range is as follows. 0 to $200. So you're right in the middle of the forfeiture range, 0 points. Any questions regarding the citation?
No.
Now's the time I take your plea. Your three plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
No contest.
You understand that with no contest plea, I'll review the police report, and if there's a basis, I'll find you guilty. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure there's a factual basis for your plea. Oh, okay. Okay, I have read the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on the sentence?
I was hoping to get it reduced or something done with it. Other than like the hit and run, I actually didn't try to like leave. I actually talked to the officer and he said he was probably like 45 minutes late, and I had actually hung out at the building, and
Oh, okay. You hung out there and then just...
I even checked it out and didn't know that I actually hit. I thought I moved the dumpster a little bit, and nobody ever came out and said anything. No, nothing. Then
Okay.
I was
Normally,
actually
don't
gotten
like
a hold of.
Normally, I don't like to change that, but if you wait around and nobody, at least you made an effort for that. What I'll do is then I'll reduce it from 187 to 124. That would be $100, but, yeah, it's 124, $50 plus cost instead of $100. So I essentially cut it in half.
Okay.
All right. How much time do you need to pay for $124?
30 days.
Okay, I'll give you the standard 30 days. Make sure that you pay. If you have trouble paying for that, just, there's a number on you that you can call.
Okay.
What we normally do for these is that we, okay.
Yeah, and I paid it in full. I didn't know if you needed the receipt, or I'm sure he put a note in there saying I paid for the repairs
Okay,
and everything.
I actually
so-
didn't see that, but I'm glad for that one, so that further supports my decision. So, okay, once you receive that, that will take care of it this evening. Thank you.
It's here, it's an I don't think I'm on your list.
Oh, okay. Well, you're here for an IID exemption, we have to wait for the prosecutor to...
Yeah, I do. I have to have a car exempted because I don't own it anymore.
Oh, I understand, but we have to wait for the prosecutor to come, so
Okay.
you can hang out
Yeah,
back
they
in the...
told me to come in at 6.
Okay.
I'm really early.
All right. Good, let's go through the defaults while we got a minute. Let's go through the defaults while we got a minute.
My ears are plugged today, I can't hear anything.
The allergies.
Bad.
Joyce Aid, bond forfeiture. Eliza Alderman, default judgments. Monica Aldridge, default judgments. Jesse Anderson, default judgments. Tanya Baker, bond forfeiture. Karen Bakken, bond forfeiture. Tammy Bingham, bond forfeiture. Elaine Brenz, upon the request of the city, or motion of the city, court will dismiss that citation. Tyler Brown is a default judgment. Regina Broyles is a default judgment. Mary Sitchie is a bond forfeiture. Eric Coffin is a bond forfeiture. Arturo Contreras Esteban is a bond forfeiture. Amy Catone is a bond forfeiture. Ronald Lovington is a default judgment. Latoya Dorenzo is a default judgment. Ting Eaglin is a bond forfeiture. Leo Joseph Arthur Andres is a default judgment. Nathaniel Stephen Feller is a default judgment. Joseph Flood is a default judgment on both citations. Cameron Furseth is a default judgment. Michael Gauss is a default judgment. Yeah.
I don't know if you're wanting to have a hearing because there's 3 defendants for the same matter as far as the restitution being divided.
Oh.
The victim has not requested a hearing.
Oh, that's for ground.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah,
Michael Gauss's default judgment on this. That's all right. All right. Ground.
Interesting.
Okay, I have, for these, I found them guilty. I'll default the theft violations. They were mailed, so if they have, I'll hold open the opportunity that, since they were mailed and not personally served, that they can always come in and contest it, and I will reopen the citation. I don't know if I have any amount of restitution.
On the first page that I was showing you, that has the amount, at the bottom or under.
Okay.
restitution.
Ooh, 351, 57, okay. What I'm gonna do, for the three suspects, or for the three defendants, they're no longer suspects. I'm gonna order restitution for 1/3 for each defendant. Since Michael Gauss was the one driving, I'll issue him the extra penny.
Who is that?
Michael Gauss, his restitution amount,
That's the other one.
what's that?
That's it's grown, G-R.
Oh, you're right, thank you.
Joshua.
Josh, let's see, who was driving? Who was the first contact we had? Josh Grom, I'm gonna give the extra penny to him. So it'll be $117.33. Tyler Grom, I will also default and issue him restitution in the amount of $117.32. And the third, who was the third party?
Tucker, Joshua.
Joshua, I'll also order Josh Tucker restitution amount of $117.32. I'll default Joshua Tucker as well. Issue each of them $117.32. I'll make the order that if, for whatever reason, we're only able to obtain restitution from one of them, it's joint and several. So if one of them, if we can't reach all three of them, then the others will be responsible for the entire restitution of the $351.97. So ordered. Thank you. Oh, you ready? Okay. Chad Gray is a bond forfeiture. Lynette Hetrick is a bond forfeiture. Brandon Hunt is a default judgment on both citations. Norlisha Jackson is a default judgment on all four citations. Jamal, is there a mandatory appearance for that? No. Detective Adams, do you want to make sure the prosecutor's downstairs? I want to make sure that they didn't forget about it. Jamal Jensen is a default judgment. Reed Johnson is a bond forfeiture. Robert Johnson is a bond forfeiture. Tyrell Jones is a default judgment. Brock Korchurer is a bond forfeiture. Richard Landay is a bond forfeiture. Peggy Lindsley is a bond forfeiture. Donald Lewick is a bond forfeiture. Lazaro Angel Medina Arguello is a default judgment. Arguello. Wyatt Bithun is a default judgment. Joshua Molnar is a default judgment. Nicholas Molnar is a bond forfeiture. Timo Moreno Romeros is a default judgment on both citations. Constance Morrow is a default judgment. Anthony Munoz is a default judgment. Todd Nelson is a default judgment. Daniel Nortwin is a default judgment. Eric Olson is a bond forfeiture. Colt Osman is a default judgment. Joshua Elmer Parisi is a bond forfeiture. Mark Eric Pernot is a default judgment of both citations. Raven Poirier, I can't say these French names. Poirier is a default judgment. Gary Quam is a bond forfeiture. Alexander Rabatoy is a default judgment. Amanda Rawl is a bond forfeiture. Laura Rod is a bond forfeiture. Hillary Rotier is a bond forfeiture. Ronnie Rummel is a bond forfeiture. Good evening, Ms. Collins.
Good evening.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Chair. Court will call City of Stoughton versus George Mattingly. Mr. Mattingly, if you want to have a seat at council table.
Oh, okay.
We're here, you'd like to exempt one of your vehicles?
Yeah, because I sold it.
Okay.
I haven't owned it in 4 years.
Did you sign over the title to the new buyer 4 years ago?
I traded it in at Viking Motors here in
Oh,
town,
okay.
so.
Okay, so they should have taken care of it then. And
Yeah.
what vehicle was it?
It was, let's see here.
Can you want to bring that up to, well, actually, hand it to the thing.
Sure. The one that is highlighted is the car I have now, and the other one is the one I don't own.
Any objection to the exemption for car you sold? Okay.
Yeah, the motor vehicle told me it's better to come here and try to get it exempted than to try to change the registration.
Oh, I see. So you have the titanium.
Titanium is the one that I have with the ignition thing in already, so.
Okay, so the one that should be exempted is the 2002 Ford Explorer.
Correct.
And we've got the VIN number. Do you mind if we keep this so we can go ahead and enter the
Yeah,
data?
you can keep that, yeah.
Okay, is that all you need?
That's all I need, yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead, we'll order that vehicle be exempted. We'll complete
Okay.
the form and we'll send it to the DOT.
So you send it to the DMV then? Sounds good.
Yeah, they'll be able to transfer those. That form out, so
That's fine.
to them.
Okay.
Okay, so ordered, and we'll make sure that vehicle is exempted, especially since you don't own it anymore.
Yeah. I'm like, when they canceled my license again, I'm like, okay, why? And then she told me that was the reason why, because I didn't have all my cars.
Okay.
So,
Anything else?
nope, we're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so, a couple things to bring your to your attention. I wasn't sure if this A or DA was supposed to go home with Miss.
In case you, yes.
Yeah, so this, she
Yeah.
is aware of it. I
Okay.
just wasn't sure if she got this or it came in the mail with.
No, I can send it to her.
Perfect,
That's
okay, but
totally-
she's aware.
Okay.
So that's all of these. So for Ms. Smithson, Attorney Bartelt stopped by to let us know that Ms. Smithson has passed away.
Oh, let me see that. I mean,
So he kept the original, I don't know if we need it.
you're not supposed to make a copy.
Oh, no. Now, he made the copy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But please sign.
No, it does say on there, it's a misdemeanor, it's a misdemeanor. if they make
It says
copies.
right on.
Oh, in this case is pending?
Yes, it's pending.
Okay, so
And
she
yeah,
passed
they
away.
were- He was scheduled for, or excuse me, she was scheduled for a pretrial today.
Okay. Let me see why. Yeah, okay, because the case was not be able to concluded, court will dismiss this case because her appeal rights were not exhausted. So court will go ahead and dismiss that citation then.
All right, and then, Your Honor, if you'll recall, there was a resolution reached with Mr. Walker, and you did,
Theft or checks where it was like $700, and you had decided you weren't going to approve that pretrial agreement and have it go back to her.
so he did not appear today, and I was in contact with Quick Trip to see if they would agree to a lower restitution amount. They will not agree to reach any resolution on that, because they're requesting $334 instead of the $700 something that they could be requesting. So was their position. He didn't appear today. I don't know if you wanted to schedule a restitution hearing or where to go with that.
Okay.
This is the total of
All
the fees and the amount of the check, so it looks like they're just wanting the amounts of the check.
Yeah, because it's a $30 fee every time they return a worthless check.
Right.
Yep, okay. Now, I'll find him in default, I'll find him guilty, impose a forfeiture of $124. I will also order restitution for the worthless checks in the amount of $784.81 to be made payable to Quick Trip. If Mr. Walker does appear, I'll entertain a motion to reopen, but I won't necessarily grant it.
This is the warrant.
Thank you.
Okay.
That.
Okay, for the underage alcohol, they have an opportunity not to have a fine, not to have a driver's license suspension if they complete their alcohol and drug assessment
Sure.
or alcohol counseling. There's one online where literally I had a defendant complete it in about 3 hours, so.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh, I thought, well, was that almost too easy, but he was more enterprising than most. So. Oh, building and maintenance sessions, okay. Yeah, if you can work with them and they can resolve it on their own, that's always a good resolution.
I met with the planning and building yesterday, so we're going to try to take a new approach.
Okay, good. Over here. Okay, pretrial is approved.
Can I ask, are you going to do the permanent
Yeah.
now? Okay, 'cause
I will be.
I'll update our website and all
Thank
the
you.
forms.
Yep.
Okay, good, all right. You
Except
still
for-
with Andrew for
Oh, this is
sketch
the-
Andrew?
Yes, he will still be covering everything.
Okay.
And then Kurt will cover for me for 1 week.
Okay.
And then I'll be back.
Okay, sounds good.
That was the one that was scheduled.
Yeah,
for
I saw that.
trial.
I saw
Okay.
it. So, okay.
All right, thank you.
Anything else, Mary?
Nothing.
Okay, thank
Great,
you.
Thank you.
Almost all the defaults, we're ahead of the game today, so.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for coming in.
And ours took a little longer.
Yeah, right. Sally Shield is a default judgment. Danish Schmidt is a default judgment. Nicholas Schneider is a default judgment. Aroj Sheehan is a default judgment. Zachary Nathaniel Shelton is a bond forfeiture. Heather Shesky is a default judgment. Also ran out of water. Ethan Scollin is a bond forfeiture. Tony Suvanor-Sonone is a default judgment. Rihanna Tiffany is a default judgment. Sheila Trentini is a default judgment. Kelsey Trimble is a default judgment. Nikita Villar is a default judgment. Thomas Wall is a default judgment. Thomas Wall, default judgment is a restitution on that? Oh, let me check.
No, there wasn't any. I mean, you can look, but I didn't.
Oh, no restitution, okay, default judgment on that one as well. All right, that concludes court.
Are you in a hurry?
No.
I just had a couple of things in the
Yeah,
office.
sure. I had a great day at work because it was blissfully quiet most of the days.
That's really nice.
I needed it, actually.
Shoes on. I'll meet you